Dungeons and Dragons is a perfectly acceptable and fun hobby. Tabletop role playing games in general is exciting and fun. And for a lot of people, it's new. A lot of people are coming into this conversation trying to find their way. What makes it harder for them to find their way and find some great content and to find some great resources that so many people have a problem of separating components. Old say, right? Old now, hate the player, not the game. That's why I say hate the maker, not the game. Dungeons and Dragons, fun game, great game, does what it does and does it well. Wizards of the Coast, horrible company. They're there to make money. They are there to line their pockets. They're not necessarily there to support you. They're not necessarily there to make you happy. They are a corporation. Their specific responsibility is to make money and to reduce cost, and they are doing a great job at that. As a company, as a corporation, great. As a publisher of TTRPGs, in particular, most popular role playing game in the world, Dungeons and Dragons, they are not being good stewards of our hobby. On the one hand, hey, they're getting the word out and they are getting more people to play, and they are the status quo. On the other hand, this has typically been more of a subculture, rebellious state game. And we could go into the history as to why those statements may not also be true. Look at some of the history, look at the history of some of the creators, look at some of the things they have said, done, and supported. You might find it's more part of the establishment than you realize. And I'm sure there are several people here that could chime in. That being said, it's like we have two camps. D&D is bad. Play this other game. Or, hey, shut up. That's my game. D&D is not in and of itself bad. Enjoy it. Play it. Love it. I do, but it is not at the exclusion of those other games because it is good does not make those other games bad or less than. And because we do not support Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and what they are doing to the game, whether that be changing mechanics, whether that be some of the moral and ethical implications of what they have put into the game or are doing around the game business wise, does not detract from the product itself, from the game itself at least. Problem is that so many of us want to lump the two together. If you don't like WotC, then you don't like D&D, and that's just not true. The two are intrinsically joined, but they are not inseparable from one another. I am somebody who will continue to speak out against Wizards of the Coast and WotC and Hasbro. Still love D&D. The problem is that when you say anything about either, then you're saying it about both in many people's eyes, and that's not the case. Understand that you can dislike the maker, but love the game. Until I see you again, remember to be well, be safe, and be awesome, both to yourself and one another.